And what's up to the haters, the hackers, the stalkers, the weirdos, the demons, the obsessed? Anyway, um, shout out to you. This video is about y'all dumbasses. Anyway, so the caption, right? People on DemonTime always expose themselves eventually, and here's why, right? Um, so let's just talk about the energy of Satan, right? The energy of Satan is complete opposite of the divine, right? So the reason why they expose themselves is because Satan wants recognition and attention for being able to, um, quote unquote, achieve something, possess something, um, own something, win by means of satanic energy and not divinity. Basically, to prove that he can achieve or can be just as powerful as God without having to um, achieve by, the means of divinity, the fruits of the spirit. It's almost like he wants to prove that I can do what you do, I can have what you have, I can produce what you produce, and even better, I can do it better, I can do it better. But that obsession to do it better, quicker, um, that desperation to win over God, right? um, to beat God, to replace God, the Most High, right? Um, y'all know. So let's talk about how God just read the fuck out of Satan from the get go, and really put all of us on from the jump on how to read your enemies, right? So you know how God says that satanic energy masquerades themselves as light, right? Put on a mask, basically a costume, in order to get in spaces that they normally would not be able to access unless they had on that mask. This is Satan energy, right? I don't know if it caught that because I accidentally pressed something on my phone, so I'm gonna repeat that. Having to wear a mask, dress yourself as, or wear a costume in order to get in spaces that you generally wouldn't have access to unless you appear to be official, right? So the thing about God putting us on, like the wisdom of understanding the difference between the tares and the wheat, we have infinite, like, oh my God, we have infinite examples all around us in real time in the lives of others. Um, our the government, movies and film, endless examples of people masquerading themselves, or thieves, murderers, whomever, masquerading themselves in order to get closer proximity to their prey, quote unquote, right? So it's like he can't help himself. And y'all know, like, for example, in gang culture and stuff like that, and drill music, things, how after they successfully kill their op, so to speak, that they eventually tell on themselves, whether that be in the music, um, amongst their community, like that same obsession to try and overtake, overthrow, and conquer whomever they're targeting is followed by that same obsession for recognition and attention seeking, right? Um, that validation. They Satan is the author of confusion, right? So meaning we're talking about an energy that is mentally ill. Satan is mentally ill. Demonic energy is mental illness. Okay, it goes against. It is the complete opposite of God, which is health, mental health. It is the complete opposite of mental health, mental illness. Either you are a person of clarity or discernment, or you are a person of confusion and you kind of slow. You feel me? Like, you kind of slow. You kind of slow. There are things, the way that God perceives. So let's talk about the quote, everything that glitters is not gold. The way God's perception is to things that are shiny and bright and alluring, temptation. You can't, nobody can say that God has not put us on, being put us on, right? The same way God's eyes and intuition and discernment and wisdom and understanding can pierce through an illusion such as something that appears like it's real diamond, but it's costume jewelry, right? It's cubic zirconia type shit. Um, it is the complete opposite for satanic energy. Is where I'm going with this. Um, so meaning if we are very clear minded, foresighted, and we can see through illusions of um, glamour, right? That means those who are on demon time cannot, they are blinded by the shine. They're blinded by the shine, just like they are blinded by the light of true divine beings. You know how in driver's ed, they teach you not to look directly, like when you're driving at night and you're passing another car, and let's say this car has on their bright lights, generally you're supposed to turn your bright lights off if you're, approaching another vehicle. Some people don't. But in driver's ed, they tell you don't look directly into the lights of the oncoming car. Just focus on the road ahead. Look straight ahead. Okay, focus on the yellow lines or whatever, or just look straight ahead. Do not um, do not get caught up in the glare, okay, of the other person's bright lights. Demonic energy gets caught up in the glare of bright lights, okay? So to extend from bright lights, okay, the real and the illusion is okay, the sun is real. Light bulbs and shit, like, is artificial, right? Superficial. You know how you would enjoy being out in the sunlight more than stepping into a room where the lighting is like really, really bright, like, right? And this is why a lot of people will prefer dim lit settings, like something that's dimly lit. Like if it's going to be artificial lighting, you will prefer dimly lit unless there is a necessity for brighter light. When you're trying to see something clearly, you're trying to find something, okay? Right. However, again, considering that example, this is why, demonic energy, they play themselves. They play themselves. It's like a snake eating its own tail. Like they play themselves. This is why they get caught up in their own snares. This is why they fall into the graves that they dug for others because they are blind. If God is clarity and truth, that means demonic energy is blind. Blind, right? Um, and here's the thing. God is so powerful. God is so Let's talk about the deaf and blind. For any of you who have um family, like a family member, or someone who was born deaf, who has gone deaf, or who was born blind, y'all know how the scoop about people like this is that they're normally heightened in other areas and other abilities, right? For example, I have a cousin who's deaf. He was born deaf. And man, when I say like, on so like on every other level, it seems it's like he is a very perceptive being. Like, okay, boom, my cousin may be deaf, right? But he is highly perceptive when it comes to vibrations, right? And frequencies. Like, for example, this is somebody, he's deaf to the actual music that's playing, but however, he can feel the vibrations of the music and dance on key, like dance. Like, first of all, he can dance. First of all, second of all, he's on beat when he dance, even though he's technically deaf, right? And the reason why God even allows that, see, you know how I was saying how all things, well, God said all things work together for the good of those who love God, right? All things, including if there's any um deficits, if there's any um deformance or a deformity or anything like that, quote unquote, or handicaps. Because oh my God, God is so powerful. Oh my God. Okay. This is why we have examples of people who are blind, people who are deaf, who are literally more intelligent, more intuitive than people who have their physical sight or physical hearing, right? That's on purpose. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Meaning, even in the event of Satan trying to create deformities in God's creation, right? God still shows and proves it has a way of delivering that all things work together for the good of those who love God. My thing is, Satan is on this vendetta of trying to prove God as the liar, hence projection, hence why we see people project onto others, right? People who are the ones that are the liars, who are the antagonists, who are the abusers, project onto the target of focus as if that person is the abuser. They're the liar. They're the narcissist. Or you're the narcissist. You know what I'm saying? Projection. Oh, this is a stupid bitch. Satan is a stupid bitch. Oh my God, it's a stupid bitch. There is nothing, absolutely nothing unpredictable about Satan or satanic energy. Nothing at all. It's the same old shit. It's the same old shit. Same old shit. hmm Why? Because, like I say all the time on this channel, Satan is not a creator. He's a thief. He's a wannabe. Right? That's all. He's a skinwalker. Right? Masquerading himself as he's a skinwalker. He's a wannabe. Oh my God. I, I heard that song. He's a runner, he's a rock star. That shit funny, bro. That shit is funny as hell to me. Like, okay, let me stay on topic. Let me stay on topic. So yeah, you know how God talks about the meek and the humble. Um, God talks about doing charity, right, without having to have or be seen, like doing charity or doing good in secret, right? Integrity, and how God will reward you openly. This is why, this was one of the main things that triggered me when I was at AKA and why I, wanted to, like a part of, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to leave or denounce AKA because they masqueraded themselves like they were holy and of God and da 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 da, but it never sat right with me the obvious contradictions um, in behavior that they upheld. Like for example, like with the whole charity stuff, to be rewarded openly, to be looked upon as better and stuff like that, like opposed to just being that way. And don't get me wrong, it's an organization and Yes, you want to present, whatever your standards and, your morals, but there was just a lot of contradiction. Just because it's a fucking organization, just because it's a principality, does not mean that what God said it now becomes obsolete. What God said is set in stone, period. When you bless someone in secret, I will reward you openly. I don't give a fuck what the customs of a group is. What did God say? Right? So this is why, you guys are set apart. This is why God's people are set apart. This is why we're set apart. Because the things that Satan craves, okay, in order to feel important, right? We don't crave the same things. We don't desire the same things. Not in the same way at all. Not in the same way. Um, yeah, so God, God's energy or angels, divine beings, chosen ones, um, we we naturally shine, right? A diamond doesn't necessarily have to try hard to shine or for the light to reflect off of it, right? Um, wow. And even when you think about people who want to copy you, mimic you, be your doppelganger and stuff like that, mirrors or people who are mirroring your energy, think about mirrors and how mirrors reflect light, right? But how does mirrors reflect light? That's because they are facing a light. There's a light shining off of the mirror. But it's not the mirror that's illuminating, that's glowing, that is the source of the light. The mirror is reflecting the light from the actual source of the light. And this is how your enemies, okay, this is how your doppelgangers, that copycat, whomever, like this is how they operate, right? This is this is a tall tale sign that this is somebody who's obsessed over you. This is somebody who's too focused on you. This is another way that they expose themselves because they can't help but to begin mimicking aspects about you or things about you. Like when somebody is stalking you, let me tell you, when somebody is stalking you, obsessing over you, it's almost like it's almost a given for them to start trying to imitate you. Almost a given. Almost. Like, ain't no almost. It is a given for them to begin imitating you because they're so heavily focused on you that they begin to mirror your light, right? Not embody it, but mirror your light because they're so focused on you, studying you, right? Studying what is their next costume gonna be for Halloween type shit. Like I don't know, Halloween every day. Yeah, it's Halloween every day. Okay, for motherfuckers that's on DemonTime. Um, and this is let's really talk about how deep this reveal, this desperation for recognition, and this exposure goes. Um, people, let, and this is all because Satan is desperate for that recognition. So it's almost like when somebody think they doing sneaky shit. When somebody think they doing sneaky shit, or like when somebody cheat on somebody, or somebody on some whole shit, you feel me? Whatever. And then boom, herpes right on your lip. And then Satan is like, yeah, I did that. Yup, that me right there. I did it. Like stupid. He's so stupid, y'all. Satan is so fucking stupid. It's sad. It's so, you know that phrase, somebody being too smart for their own good. Like it's kind of like that. Like so smart that you're stupid. Like one of them, but you're not really smart at all. It's an illusion. Um. So yeah, like that. That is satanic energy, y'all. Like he has to. He can't help himself. He cannot. help him. So he want to be able to claim that, yeah, I did that. I beat God. I took this person away from God. I whatever, right? I cause people to believe the opposite or to believe the lie over the truth. That must mean that I'm more powerful than God. This is Satan's logic, y'all. This is Satan's logic. Do you hear how insane this energy truly is? So whenever you see these extensions and these manifestations of many different forms and variations of mental illness, okay, I just want you to pay attention. I just want you to take note of who we're dealing with for real, for real. Like, he literally is not anything or anybody to fear. Now, first of all, God didn't give you the spirit of fear, which is why fear mongering and scare tactics is the devil's forte when it comes to gaining control and possession over anybody or over a situation. Okay. When you are in fear, it makes you vulnerable um for infiltration. It makes you vulnerable um to being conquered and all of that, right? When you're in fear. Mm, 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 mm. When you are in fear, um, heavy anxiety and all of that, it makes you vulnerable to sickness and stress, disease, okay? Becoming disoriented and messing up, tripping up over yourself. So let's think about the It movie. The It movie with the clown. How when the children stopped being afraid of him, he shrunk in size. Like that all the ego that he had, all that fake confidence and that fake strength and empowerment that he had, he shrunk. And who was really afraid at the end of it all? It was afraid of the goddamn children, and not so much of the children, but the spirit that was within those children, that strength, that confidence, that sovereign confidence, that bravery, that courage. You go on saying being fearless, okay, right? Being fearless eliminates your opposition that are using the tactic of fear mongering in order to overcome or overpower you. Period. Being fearless. Um, yeah. hmm So that's pretty much the message for this video, you guys. I have been channeling a few other things, and I think I'll just come back um in due time. But mm, 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 mm. I was thinking about how God said one of the things that He hates is a proud look, and what He mean by that is somebody who is obviously wicked or evil or have done something evil. Um they're sitting there enjoying witnessing some type of evil that they've crafted or orchestrated, like go in what appears their favor, right? Something be destroyed, or watching an angel or divine being tormented, and them having like a proud look to them, almost like uh, feeling feeling powerful and haughty. And y'all have to understand the way that this is being perceived by God. Like let's really talk about it. Like, okay, so in my face, like I'm gonna speak. So let's say this is what God is saying. So in my face, you're going to defile. In my face, you're going to touch my anointing. In my face, you're gonna do my prophet harm. In my face, the audacity. You are full of life, breath. You can see or you can walk. All you can talk, the fact that you have life in your body and you here on my planet, you here in my universe, and all I said was to touch not this tree, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. That's it. You know, you have free will, live your life. I'm not here to possess you. You can make your own choices and decisions. All I'm saying is don't touch my anointed. Don't do my prophet no harm. That is all. That's all. And the audacity for you to do that anyway, and then have the nerve to feel bold, egotistical, prideful, confident, haughty, have a proud look on your face for disrespecting me, the Alpha and Omega, the giver of life. Do you realize what you're doing? Like, okay, this is why, you know how people say hate is a strong word? This is why that is one of the things that is listed under what God hates. Now, flat out, God says he hates evil, period, which is whatever is in opposition of life. Okay. mm, mm, mm. I'm thinking about the scripture um, about God giving you an expected end, right? So when you have people, now again, yes, people, under possession and, you know, giving themselves up, giving up their bodies to demons and evil spirits, yes. But yeah, let's give Satan, let's give Satan the floor for a moment, right? So, because he's attention seeking. Oh yeah. Um. So, oh my God, this shit is so sad. You want to prove that so Satan wants to prove that he's better than God, right? He can do what God do, and he can do it better at that. That's what he wants to prove. That's his vendetta. That's his motive. That's his biggest that's his biggest motivation. His biggest motivation is God. Is defeating God. Okay, overcoming or replacing God. Okay, but think, how can you replace the the source, the originator, the original? You can't. You can't replace the original. But hey, Satan feels like his power play is to be the opposite of God. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. If mental wellness and health is with God, mental illness is what. Okay, so he's not all there, is what I'm trying to say. We're dealing with uh, a loony motherfucker. Okay, he's the he's the most delusional of the descendants and the flesh suits that we see that fall into delusion. Okay, the father of delusion. Okay. Now let's talk about things that are just foundational, that are just a given. So life force, spirits, souls, bodies, minds, right? These are foundational. These are a given, right? So this is kind of like that common ground, right? Mind, body, and soul, common ground. Spirit, common ground. And where it differs is the nature of it, the quality of it, whether it is divine or whether it is evil, okay? Compromise, okay? Wicked. Um, so that's why you have your seven deadly sins. And this is why you have the fruits of the spirit, right? If anybody ever questions how do they defeat or conquer any of the sins they are dealing with from an opponent or an opposer, okay, that is in favor of demonic energy or they're on demon time, all you have to do is tap into the fruit of the spirit. You know, what would God do? You know, um, yeah. And this is why, that saying something that I always say is that if everybody's going uh right, I'm gonna go left. Right. I'm gonna go explore the path less traveled since everybody's going over there. I feel like these are like foundational units when it comes to wisdom, right? Um, because again, if something is obviously unrighteous, it's unfair, it's wrong, it feels wrong, okay, it leads to fucked up stuff. You get what I'm saying? Do the opposite. What is the opposite? If somebody's trying to influence you to do something that you know is wrong, you should probably do the opposite. Doing the opposite is probably going to save you, opposed to being peer pressured into doing some shit that you know what I'm saying. And unfortunately, as you're being edified and finding your footing in this lifetime, okay, you may, take the path that everybody else is taking, or you may go the way or in the direction that everybody else is going a few times, and until you finally realize, okay, yeah, nah, because more than likely it's going to lead to some shit that's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you, right? It's almost like, all right, don't touch that stove, but it's hot. Man, yeah, whatever, man. And it's hot when you touch it. Okay, now you burned. You can burn yourself. Or start jumping on the bed now. Start jumping on the bed. Now, here's the thing about jumping on the bed and falling, hitting your head, whatever the case may be. It's not so much you jumping on the bed, it's more so about you being disobedient. I said start jumping on the bed. Okay? That simple. I said touch not my anointed. See, that's simple. And you want to touch me anyway. You jumped anyway after you deliberately disobeyed me. I'm even hearing Mufasa when he was talking to Simba. You deliberately disobeyed me. Mm, 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 mm. Wow. Yo, was Scar overtaken by the hyenas that he led by the end of the movie? Shame, shame, shame. And here's my thing. Like, here's the thing about Satan. Satan treats humans and people as disposable. Disposables. Disposables that he basically uses to achieve the results that he wants. He don't care nothing about these. We don't care nothing about you. You sitting there thinking that, demon time, you know, makes you cool, makes you popular, makes you the one. Satan don't give a fuck about you. The hell? If God loves you so much that God will give you mercy, chance after chance, okay? You can apologize, would accept, oh my God, would forgive you 7 times. And then, oh my God, bro, what the hell do you think? How do you think Satan? If Satan is the complete opposite of God, why the hell do you think being on demon time is going to lead to some type of advantage for you? It's going to lead to a real sustainable win. It's not. You are taken up in an illusion. You are delusional. You are confused. And you are confusing others that you are gathering to do the shit with you. You're collecting blood on your hands. Okay? You're increasing the severity and intensity of your torment. Okay? Like, you're doing devil's work. Just like those of us who are divine, who are the chosen ones, who are doing God's work, who are, saying, moving, being, existing in a manner that would lead people back to God, to the Most High, to encourage people to go even harder for God, period, to eliminate all doubts towards God, okay? That obvious opposition, satanic energy, people on demon time are working to the fullest to destroy, to eliminate. Damn. They don't want you to have faith. Okay, so God puts you in alignment, or you align with somebody who has big faith in God. Dang, like this stuff is not rocket science, bro. Like, oh my God, but maybe it is rocket science. It's ascension science. So, period, period. Mm. All right, y'all. Mm. Let's see if I got everything out, cause I really can go. I really can go. But mm, 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 mm. It's a shame, but it's a shame. So don't worry about people in their lives, okay, for attention or people that's trying to throw shadows over who you really are. Okay, they're trying to throw shadows and darkness, illusions, confusion, darkness, deception, over your light, over your truth, over who you really are. They're trying to minimize your divine impact and influence, okay, by trying to overcompensate with their demonic influence, pressuring people, peer pressure, all that shit, dark, demonic manipulations, whether they be emotional, psychological, spiritual, physical, whatever form of manipulation that they have, um, they have basically, uh, let's say, I'm gonna use the word discern in this situation, in this context, that they have discerned